Another therapy type is behavioral therapy. This therapy can help you or your child learn how to monitor and manage your behavior. Medication can also be very helpful when you're living with ADHD. ADHD medications are designed to affect brain chemicals in a way that enables you to better control your impulses and actions. Find out more herbal treatment options with an alkaline diet with Dr. Sebi herbs and foods interventions that can help ease ADHD symptoms. Type brain support in search at www.veganchoicefoods.com or click the link below to see these herbs. This manual is what doctors refer to when making diagnoses for mental health conditions. Get a better understanding of the difference between ADD and ADHD. Adult ADHD. More than 60% of children with ADHD still show symptoms as adults. For many people, hyperactivity symptoms often decrease with age, but inattentiveness and impulsivity may continue. That said, treatment is important. Untreated ADHD in adults can have a negative impact on many aspects of life. Symptoms such as trouble managing time, forgetfulness, and impatience can cause problems at work, home, and in all types of relationships. Find out more about the signs and symptoms of ADHD in adults and how they can impact your life. ADHD in children. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, trusted source, around 8.8% of people aged 3 to 17 years in the United States have had a diagnosis of ADHD at some time. This includes 11.7% of males and 5.7% of females. For children, ADHD is generally associated with problems at school. Children with ADHD often have difficulties in a controlled classroom setting. Boys are more than twice as likely trusted source as girls to receive an ADHD diagnosis. This may be because boys tend to exhibit hallmark symptoms of hyperactivity. Although some girls with ADHD may have the classic symptoms of hyperactivity, many do not. In many cases, girls with ADHD may daydream frequently, be hypertalkative rather than hyperactive. Many symptoms of ADHD can be typical childhood behaviors, so it can be hard to know what's ADHD related and what's not. Learn more about how to recognize ADHD in toddlers. Is ADHD a learning disability? While ADHD is a neurodevelopmental disorder, it's not considered a learning disability. However, ADHD symptoms can make it harder for you to learn. Also, it's possible for ADHD to occur in some people who also have learning disabilities. To help relieve any impact on learning for children, teachers can map out individual guidelines for a student with ADHD. This may include allowing extra time for assignments and tests or developing a personal reward system. Although it's not technically a learning disability, ADHD can have lifelong effects. Learn more about the potential impacts of ADHD on adults and children and resources that can help. Coexisting conditions. People with ADHD sometimes have other mental health conditions, such as depression and anxiety. Some of these conditions result from the challenges of living with ADHD. Anxiety. People with ADHD can find it hard to keep up with daily tasks, maintain relationships, and so on. This can increase the risk of anxiety. People with ADHD are also more likely to experience an anxiety disorder than those without ADHD, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, trusted source. Anxiety disorders include separation anxiety, when you are afraid of being away from loved ones. Social anxiety, which can make you afraid of going to school or other places where people socialize. Generalized anxiety, when you're afraid of bad things happening, of the future, and so on. Depression. If you or your child has ADHD, you're more likely to have depression as well. In one study, around 50% of adolescents had major depression or an anxiety disorder, compared with 35% of those without ADHD. Studies suggest that up to 53.3% trusted source of adults with ADHD may also have depression. This may feel like an unfair double whammy, but know that treatments are available for both conditions. In fact, the treatments often overlap. Talk therapy can help treat both conditions. Also, certain antidepressants, such as bupropion, can sometimes help ease ADHD symptoms. Of course, having ADHD doesn't guarantee you'll have depression, but it's important to know it's a possibility. Find out more about the link between ADHD and depression. Conduct and behavior disorders. Behavior and conduct problems are more common trusted source among children with ADHD than those without. These disorders can arise when a person does not feel understood by those around them. Someone who doesn't feel understood may argue a lot, lose their temper, or purposely annoy others. These may be signs of oppositional defiant disorder. Some people find they cannot help breaking rules or behaving aggressively toward others, maybe fighting, bullying, or perhaps taking things that do not belong to them. This is called conduct disorder. Treatment is available for people who face these challenges, but experts recommend starting early and making sure the treatment fits the needs of the person and their family. Learning disorder. Some children with ADHD have a learning disorder that makes it additionally hard to carry out their study tasks. Examples include dyslexia, which makes reading difficult, or problems with numbers or writing. These challenges can make it very hard for a child to manage at school, and they can worsen feelings of anxiety and depression. Getting help early is essential to try to minimize the impact of these challenges. Tips for coping with ADHD. If you or your child has ADHD, a consistent schedule with structure and regular expectations may be helpful. For adults, some ways to help you stay organized are making lists, keeping a calendar, setting reminders. For children, it can be helpful to focus on writing down homework assignments and keeping everyday items, such as toys and backpacks, in assigned spots. Learning more about the disorder in general can also help you learn how to manage it. Organizations like Children and Adults with Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder or the Attention Deficit Disorder Association provide tips for management as well as the latest research. Your doctor can provide more guidance in ways to manage your ADHD symptoms. Here are tips for helping your child with ADHD. Eating more alkaline brain foods on Dr. Sebi approved foods list, find on www.veganchoicefoods.com. Outlook. For children and adults, untreated ADHD can have a serious impact on your life. It can affect school, work, and relationships. Treatment is important to lessen the effects of the condition. It's still important to keep in mind that many people with ADHD enjoy fulfilling and successful lives. Some even appreciate the benefits of the condition. If you think you or your child may have ADHD, your first step should be talking with a doctor if possible. They can help determine if ADHD is a factor for you or your child. Your doctor can help you create a treatment plan to help you manage your symptoms and live well with ADHD.